वेद प्रतिपाद्य जय जय स्वसंवेद्या Atmarupa. Gyaneshwar describes Lord Ganesh in his beautiful words. His description goes beyond the physical form, and he says that he is the Lord, he is the eternal essence who has been here even before the universe was created. He is the highest consciousness, he is the highest self, he is the one known by the Vedas. Our festivals bring with them a lot of merrymaking, fun, joy. They bring a lot of brightness to our mundane lives as we celebrate the changes in the seasons in the cycle of nature, the Ritu Chakra. Our festivals also give us a gentle nudge to think about, to dive a little deeper into understanding our environment. Ganesh festival comes in the month of Bhadrapad, right after Shravan, in the Varsha Ritu. This is the season when nature is at its best. This is when the trees, the plants have leaves in abundance. They are nice, happy, and it's lush green everywhere. Shravanamasi harshamanasi, hiravara date tsohi kade, kshanata yete sarasara shirave, kshanata firuni una pade. Poet Balkavi talks about the beauty of this nature in the month of Shravan and Bhadrapad. He talks about the beautiful dance of the sunlight and the rain and the green everywhere. It is during this season that Ganesh festival comes. These all pujas during these months, they come with the offerings of leaves for the god. Offering leaves has been a very old traditional practice in many of the countries. Leaf offering in a way represents self-sacrifice. It represents your love for the deity. It's something like we would share with our loved one. It possibly also represents placating or pacifying the wrath of the lords, because man used to fear nature, fear deities in a way. So it was also a means of pacifying them, and of course a means of sharing your love. In earlier days, when you can imagine, we didn't have colorful plastics or thermocol, these green leaves were possibly the way of decorating. They also have a purpose of decoration. Just like the nature around is happy and showing its shades of green, these shades of green also find a way of entering our houses and decorating the place where the idol is installed. So the leaf offering could possibly serve a number of purposes, and there's more to it. Sundara paradi gheu nihati, puropakanthi shuddhamati, Sundara bala ya phulamala, ramya phule, patri khudati. Palkavi goes on to talk about the beautiful scenes around and the way the young girls are moving around plucking leaves and flowers in this season. So it has been a traditional practice, and it's also a way the women socialize. In earlier days, when women folk hardly used to venture out, this was a nice occasion when the weather was beautiful to move out with their friends and have some nice time with them, with a little chit chat and gossiping as they move around plucking these leaves. It was also a way possibly to hand over the traditional knowledge that came with it. It was an occasion where you could get introduced to nature around you. The elderly women in the house could handhold the young ladies into identifying plants, the plants which were important in these rituals. So the 21 Ganesh Patri, which are associated with this particular puja, this was a beautiful occasion where you would learn about them. And what better way than to go out in the wilderness during this beautiful season and learn the basics of plant taxonomy and ecology. In a way, it was a crash course for learning basics of taxonomy and ecology, and from the elderly in the house. So this was the best way to pass on the oral history. These plants also feature abundantly in our Ayurvedic scriptures. Many of them have medicinal uses. Many of them have been used to treat ailments which occur in our day-to-day lives. So this becomes an important point of handing over that knowledge as well. So these plants which could be seen around the house, which could be seen sometimes when you walk only in the forests, or which could be sometimes really rare. So it was a way to get introduced to nature and wilderness around ourselves. In today's times, when rituals like these are conducted, we tend to forget the context behind it. So when it used to be, the original ritual was to actually go out in the nature, enjoy that company, a little meditative experience, and get introduced to the green around us. But now we would go in the market, local market, and buy the ready-made bunch of green leaves as offerings to our deity. So if we take it out of the context, it sometimes loses its meaning. And then we begin to think, does it really have any meaning at all? So if we delve a little into the history of it, it could give a perspective and an understanding of how it must have played an important role in handing over the traditional knowledge and an understanding of environment around us. It was possibly a way of resource management and understanding of natural resource utilization as well. When you move around in nature, there are certain indicators if we are sensitive enough to understand the changes that have occurred, any new species that have been introduced. A species, if it is dominant, aggressive, can create havoc in the original native species. So all of this understanding comes from actually going out and trying to understand what species we have around. It is interesting to see the interesting offerings of lessons and understanding these rituals have. If we look at the 21 patris, we see an amazing diversity of habit. We have a lot of range of right from grasses to climbers, shrubs, herbs and trees. It also has an amazing range of different habitats. So there would be some which will be available very close to your house, some even which are planted, and there could be some which can be seen only when you enter wilderness areas or forested areas nearby. So all of this range also brings in that awareness of ecology and the various habitats you would have around where you live. So this was also a way of understanding the ecological setting of your place. As we come close to nature, we learn to observe. There are little things like some of these patris are actually host plants for certain butterflies. There are some which are favorite of the birds. So all of this knowledge of the biodiversity around us seeps into these processes, these rituals, and becomes an interesting study in itself. In today's times, can we look at this context? Can we try to interpret these rituals for today's times in our homes? We may not have a wild urban space close to our house, but can we plant a few of these in our own home gardens? Instead of buying something from the local market without understanding the value or without even understanding whether they are the original species listed in our puja scriptures or not, can we actually have the right species planted right in our garden? It could be a delight to observe how the birds and the butterflies or the insects around interact with these. Can we consider using some of these in our daily life as part of our well-being, as part of our healthy life? A little bit of tulsi can work miracles. Can we try to actually include this in our day-to-day life and move towards a healthier lifestyle? Ishopanishad says, Isha vasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gruddha kasya svidhanam. The universe made of living and non-living things is permeated by God. Humans may use the resources as needed, but may not hoard as if this all belongs to me. This throws light into the simple understanding of how we look at nature, how we look at natural resource management, and how we can look at it as a sustainable resource rather than mindlessly harvesting and then ending up with losing that species altogether? Can we ask a simple why to our rituals, a simple how to our rituals, and try to understand them? Mahashweta Devi has written a lovely story, Kyun Kyun Ladki. There's this little girl who's very inquisitive, very curious, and goes on asking questions to elders around her. They sometimes get tired, sometimes irritated, but this quest leads all of us as readers to knowledge and enlightenment. Can we think of asking whys to our rituals? In the earlier days, asking questions to elders was considered bad manners. But if we look at it from a different perspective, try to understand the reason behind it, try to delve deeper into the origin and the history, it can throw light on a number of things. It can open up roads less traveled, it can open up walkways and pathways and take us down to lanes which lead us to different facets of knowledge. Be it very interesting stories from the mythological stories from our Puranas, or be it interesting aspects of our ecology and environment, or it could even be little hints and tips on a healthy lifestyle. So if we just start asking these little questions, be a little more conscious of why we celebrate, how we celebrate, I think it will make a lot of difference, not just to ourselves, but also to our environment. This quest will actually lead us to understand better our relationship with our own self, our relationship with nature, our relationship with the highest self, the highest conscious. That's what Lord Ganesh represents, doesn't he? In the next session, we'll move on to understand the species, the 21 patris that are offered, the green offerings for our dear Lord Ganesha, from senior botanist Dr. Vinaya Ghate.
Yes, Patri Pujan is a ritual where green leaves are offered to God. In many traditions, different types of leaves being offered. In some traditions, we offer leaves in everyday worship also, like Durva to Ganesha, then Bel to Shiva or Lakshmi, Tulsi to Lord Krishna, and so on. We know a tradition of Pandharpur Yatra, where again Tulsi is offered to Vithala also. In weekly worships, we offer Mandar leaves to Shani. So these are different traditions where leaves are being offered commonly. But there are some traditions where we offer leaves in different festivals like Ganesha. Some other festivals are also there where we offer different leaves. Like Haritalika, we offer some leaves. Then Mangala Gauri, we offer 16 leaves. Ganesha, 21 leaves. Ananta Puja, 14 leaves, and all that. So these are different traditions, different pujas which come in months of Shravan and Bhadrapad of Marathi almanac. This is a season where we get number of leaves from green nature, and that's why these have been offered to different gods in different puja ceremonies. Ganesha Puja, we offer 21 leaves. Diversity is there in habits, like there are trees, there are shrubs, there are climbers, and there are herbs also. Maximum number are in herbs and limited numbers are in climbers. Only 2 climber leaves are used, and 8 trees, leaves of 8 trees are being used in the Patri. considering the diversity of species, 21 species belonging to 21 genera and 21 families are being offered. So this is the diversity offered in Ganesha Patri. Number of species are planted also, and number of species they are around us, even in the waste places also. We get along roads, waste places, heap areas and all that. And why they are included, then there is reason for it. They are commonly being used as medicines. So to know them and know their habitat, they have been included in it. There are simple ways of or the simple clues which can identify these plants. Say for example, in leaves, two main types are there, simple and compound. In Patri, only two species are there where there are compound leaves only, like Shami and Hadga. These are two plants, and third one is Bale, which has trifoliate leaves, and others have pinnate leaves. So very distinct they are in the identification. If we consider other simple leaves, in Agada, the leaves are very soft and have silvery hairs on it. So very easily can be identified. Or in Dorli, the surface is spinescent. Then if we consider Kevda, the margin is serrate, spinescent and serrate. One serrate margin also is there for the bear. Boar, it is serrately margin and it has got silvery backside. So very easily identified with these characters. For the Arjun Patra, a specific gland is there on backside of leaf. So these are distinct characteristics which explains its identity. Some of them, they are there in our garden, like Nerium or Kadher. Dark green and long linear leaf is there. Durva everybody knows, but specifically in Ganesha Patri, it has been mentioned about the Shweta Durva. How they are different from the doob grass? They are white in nature, so it's a albino type of doob grass, and it appears as a mutation. Sometimes this mutation occurs in rocky areas only, so we get this distinct variant in rocky substrate. So Shweta Durva is quite rare to find it out, but Durvas are very common, abundantly growing around us, so we can use them also. For Tulsi, distinct smell is there, so that is one more character to identify the plant. So these different, even in the leaf stage, vegetative stage, we can identify all these 21 plants, taking into consideration habit and then different morpho characters. Actually, it comes from Puranas only, and in one Ganesha Purana, it is said that only 4 are there, but in subsequent pothis then we get 21 number. How they appeared, it's very difficult to say how they appear, but they are there and they are easily available around us, except for Himalayan species, that is Devdaru. It is not available. I also wonder how that is included in this puja, because it's a very distinct puja in Maharashtra only. And how then Devdaru come in that puja, I don't know. Yes, there are distinct stories with respect to Ganesha Patri, and most of them says that these plants are beloved by Lord Ganesha. They are from old Puranas. I could get 6 different plants and their stories, but here I will explain only one, which is related to Ganesha and Durva. I will tell a story of Ganesha, demon, Analasur and Durva grass, which is found in Puranas. When ignorance overcomes divinity Asur, Asur thinks himself to be most powerful. Analasur, a demon, became very strong and powerful and started harassing all living beings on the earth. Living beings then approached Ganesha, who readily agreed to put end to the tyranny of Analasur. Ganesha asked Analasur to stop adharmic activities. You don't do this, but he doesn't accept it, and then he challenged to battle with him. Ganesha was knowing that it is impossible to defeat Analasur using weapons. Ganesha then thought the idea of challenging Analasur for fist fight. While wrestling was underway, Ganesha opened his big mouth and swallowed Analasur. Agni in stomach of Ganesha killed Analasur. All living beings were happy, but Ganesha showed sign of uneasiness to indigestion. Kashyapa Rishi then offered 21 Durva grass to Ganesha, and Ganesha was relieved from the burning sensation in the stomach. What is the moral of this story? It states that Durva grass is very useful and it is used in medicine even today. All the species, whatever have been mentioned in Patri, 21 Patris, all of them they are having Ayurvedic use, and most of them are being used even today in different preparations.
Can we talk a little about the medicinal properties of some of these plants in Ayurveda?
Bhringarajapatra, say for example, has hair improvement properties. So the taila is prepared from Bhringaraj, and it is quite commonly available in the market in taila form. Bilvapatra. All parts of Bilvapatra are used. Bilvapatra is also used, but all parts of tree are also used, right from root to fruit. Fruit is quite cool in nature. So cooling effect of it is used making sharbat in hot season, and that sharbat is available. Again it is used for, its jam is used for diarrhea. Then roots are important ingredient of Dashamula, and Dashamul is used for many ailments. They are not only Dashamala Arushta, but in different preparations of different medicines also, Dashamula is the basic requirement, and Bell is one of them. Durva, as I said in the story, they are useful again to form a cooling effect in the stomach. A well-known example of cooling effect or to bring out the unwanted thing from stomach, vomiting action, Durva is used. Durvas are also used for lowering the body heat. It is commonly used in Nagin. Tulsi Patra, nowadays in treating viruses also, Corona also, Tulsi Patra has been said. Prepare Kada of Tulsi, and drink it, it will suffice the requirement of immunity. So likewise, number of plants are being used. Each and every plant from this set of 21 is medicinally important and commonly being used in industries also. All 21 can be raised, and there is one fellow who has already planted 21 in his garden, and they are surviving well. Some of them are commonly used in house treatments, household treatments we can say, and some of them they are, if not used commonly in the garden, they are ornamental and they can be used as ornamental plant or offering some flowers for our daily puja, like Nerium. Nerium is one, or Marwa. That also can be offered to God in daily puja. So likewise, all of them, except for few like Bruhati, which is available in forest. It is very difficult because it has got spines. So whether to plant, but one or two shrubs we can put, and actually the fruits of that Bruhati, they are being consumed by localites, surrounding village localites, for reducing pitta. So it is useful. Even they prepare vegetable out of it to reduce pitta. So all of them can be used, but if they are not, some ornamentals which are already prescribed, say for example zai, they can be used as a garden plant. There are some confusing species also. Say for example Malati Patra. Malati Patra or Madhavi Lata. Malati is said to Madhavi Lata also, and Malati is said to Mogara also. Madhavi Lata is a liana which is difficult to grow in galleries or home gardens, but at the same time Mogara, that is Jasminum, we can use, and we have actually in our garden. Likewise Jati Patra also. Jati is Zai and Jati is nutmeg also. So whatever is easy we can use. So there are some confusions in use of species. We can resolve according to availability of plants, because both are under the common name Jati or Malati. We can use whatever is easier to grow and easier to use. Likewise, some confusing species are there. Even Madhumalati, actually Madhumalati is said to Rangoon creeper also. But actually Malati is Mogara and Malati is Madhavi Lata. So we can contribute for their identity and utility also, whichever is easier, which can be used as patri. Actually availability is a key component. Whatever is available, not all 21, but at least 5, 11, 15, 21, whatever is available. Earlier I was to collect all 21 around us, but nowadays many of the habitats are being lost. It is difficult even to search for aghada. Earlier it was quite common along roads. Now it is difficult to get that. Datura, commonly seen at waste places or pad zamin we say. This Datura was there, then Rui was there, but nowadays it is becoming difficult in urban areas like Pune to collect these species. So it is becoming difficult, but we can manage for at least few by planting them at home, by planting them at your farmhouse. All 21 can be grown. Some trees are very big, so it's difficult to grow all these. Bear for example, or shami for example, these are difficult to grow in the farmhouse, but they are available. In Pune now people are becoming aware they are planting these trees as they are native of ours, and they are being grown in city also, so they can become available for us. Right now, local economy, if we say, people are bringing material whatever is easily available in the market. So if we think of market patri and analyze them, more than 23-24 species are available, but out of which, except for durva and bale, all others are not at all mentioned in the prescribed patri. Considering the economy part of it, they are being brought and they get money, and people are using because neither they know nor people know about the real patri, they are getting money. But if we teach them to bring these plants only and teach them how to plant them in their areas, people can get better patri in the market, and they will get better charges also for the patri. Actually, in this season, some of the species are abundantly available around us, so no problem of plugging, particularly like durva. Many plots are full of durvas, and the plots need the harvesting also, so it is easier to collect durvas. But the species like Vishnukranta or Arjun, Vishnukranta, as I know, it was quite commonly available along our hills in Pune and surroundings, but now it is not very easily available around hills. And as I know, it is very sensitive to even walks of people. Pyro, we said it as, with the pyro of people, it goes off. So very sensitive species. So it is a bit becoming too rare around us. If we can grow it, right now no agro practices are available for that species, but we can develop them. Now we have initiated that task also, how to develop it. As it is seasonal, and if we plug and put in the garden, it doesn't fruit many times. So we have to take care for that also, but it can be grown in the garden. In garden, another evolvulus is available, which remain throughout the species, throughout the year. It remains throughout the year, so we can use that species or develop this species and to make it more hardy, like that. So plugging of material, yes, we have to teach people also, which is rare. Say for example, right now, Gauri se Hath, they are coming in the, no puja has been described, this Gauri se Hath for offering, but they are coming, and before forming the fruits they are coming, so it's a dangerous thing. We will lose that species in future, so we have to take care. We have to teach people not to bring these, and grow some specific plants and bring, so they can get better money for that. At the end, I would like to suggest that please do not buy patris blindly. Just make it point to collect them, have them in your orchard and use them properly. If not all, some you can collect and plant into your garden, and teach also the sellers to bring proper patri. So we can get proper and they can get better money.
प्रचंड विस्तीर्ण भाळी उदंड दंड वेष्टित नागबंध शुक्र घटिका बंद चमत्कार करीते सकळ विद्या